Hey everybody, welcome to the next episode of Smile Girl Don't Be Nervous. I am Juana, I am the mom.
I'm Esperanza, I'm the daughter.
And we are Smile Girl. So our holidays that we have for this week are the first day of winter, which came up super fast. Oh my god. And that is December 21st. We've got Yule, December 20th through the 23rd, and then we have Christmas. Which is December 25th. So that's why we're all decked out in our Christmas stuff. I have Snoopy. Of course I have Snoopy because Snoopy is fabulous. Because, he's always a mess.
And then Stitch. She's just being Stitch.
So, we love the Christmas season because we love spending time with our family. So it gives us some downtime because we are all working so much in between Anthony working and doing his projects and me working and handling 3 different companies outside of work, and then Mama working and doing school. So, any days off that we get during the holidays really allows us to really connect with each other, and that's kind of what the spirit of Christmas is about, is
always has been.
Spending time. Yep. So we have a second Thanksgiving for our Christmas Day meal, or a super massive breakfast. And then, usually it's like biscuits and gravy because Anthony loves biscuits and gravy.
Or the fucking breakfast lasagna.
Or the breakfast lasagna.
Ugh.
So we got to figure out what we're going to do this year. We haven't really figured it out yet. But we just want to say, whatever you are celebrating, Merry Mule, or Happy Mule and Happy Yule and Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. I know we recognized Hanukkah the last couple episodes ago, so
is New Year's on this one?
No, New Year's is next one. We will be celebrating New Year's next one. So we're going to be all fabulously glam and super sparkly. And that one is with Miss Seneca. So,
perfect.
Yeah, so she's going to be on, and we're all going to be like blitzed and glam, ready to celebrate New Year's. Yeah. So I can't believe this year flew by so fast.
I know.
We talked about that last episode too. Like, it is just so fast. Are you shedding?
Yeah, and it happens to just stay on my lips.
So remember to like, share, and hit the bell for notifications for when our episodes drop. We are back on track now, so I am super excited. By the time this airs, we will be coming back from Vegas. I went soon. Yeah, I went with Justin and Shauna and her husband and her boys, and we went to Vegas to do World Finals for Underground Bull Riding Productions. So we've got boys going, and then her boys are the 5F contractors, and so their bulls actually go to Vegas. So those are the bulls that all of the kids ride. So we will have just gotten back from that, and I will tell you all about it next week when that episode airs. So that's where we're at. That's where we are in my life right now. Crazy.
This fucking fly just keeps going through.
I don't even know where he came from. Like, no issues all day. Yeah. And then we started recording, and I was like, excuse me?
Where'd he go?
Fucking rude. I was talking here.
I'm gliding here.
Right? I'm gliding here. Okay, so this episode, for our trigger warnings and advisories, we are going to be talking about toxic relations, gaslighting, and abuse. So once again, as we say with every episode, if you are in a situation where you need to disclose any kind of abuse going on, please find an adult to help you through that situation in order to get you into a different situation. We care about your well-being, so we want to do anything to help you get to a better life. Yes, so absolutely. We know it is hard to get through those situations. We have both been in various different abusive situations, and so we know how difficult that is. So,
and more than one.
And yeah, many different ones, and that's sad. But we still love everybody. But please do what you need to in order to take care of yourself during this episode. So the quote that we are going to be talking about, this is our first quote from Chosen.
Oh, yes.
Right? Yes. So we are in book 3 of the House of Night series. If you want some more information about the House of Night series, please refer back to episode 1, where we talk about how everything is going and what the series is about. This particular series is written by PC and Kristen Cast. They are a mother and daughter duo, and they talk about the House of Night, which is kind of like a finishing school for vampire fledglings. They don't always transition to make it to vampires, so lots of drama goes on between that. They come up against a high priestess that is not doing so good. She's not making some good choices for herself, so there's that. But it's like a whole series. There's like 22 or 23 books in the series.
Open your mouth.
Thanks.
There you go.
Appreciate it. So there's like 22 or 23 books in this series, in the first series, and then there's 4 in the additional series that happens a year after the first series. So we are officially in book 3. So that is where we are. So the quote that we're going to cover today says, "Lies don't fix things. They don't even make things easier, at least not in the long run. But best to tell the truth and then clean up an honest mess." That's a big deal. So just to give a little context about where this is coming from in the book, Zoe has just had a blow up with her mom when she went to go meet with Grandma Redbird for her birthday. So this is actually perfect timing because Zoe's birthday falls on Christmas. It's like the day before, the day after, or the day of Christmas.
Okay.
So she calls it her birthmas.
Okay. Yeah.
Right? So she had her mom like walked out on her, and that was talked about in like episode 2 or 3, I think.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it was 3 or 4. When her mom and her step-loser came for parent night over at the House of Night. Oh, it was the crying episode. Yep. The Do Not Cry episode when we were talking about Aphrodite. So I think that was
5 or 6.
5 or 6, yeah. So go back to that if you want to refer back to that one a little bit more. But Zoe walked out with her Zoe's mom walked out with her step-loser after having a confrontation with Neferet about beliefs, because Zoe's stepdad is
a man of church.
A man of faith, right? From like the Church of God or whatever they call it in the book. But he is a religious man, and so he got into an argument with Neferet about their faiths and beliefs, and that just kind of went crazy. So she hasn't talked to her mom since. So Zoe goes into town, into Tulsa, to meet up with Grandma Redbird to get Christmas presents and stuff for her nerd herd. Meets up with Grandma Redbird. And her mom get into a blow up again because her mom decides to get her a Bible with a crazy ass message in it, talking about how she needs to come to the light in order to save her soul.
She's a vampire.
Yeah, but she was marked as a vampire. This isn't something she chose. Like, she didn't intentionally be like, hey.
But, let me set up for that. That's one.
Hook me up.
No.
That was not how it happened.
No.
Right? And so they got into a huge fight. And Zoe is super upset about it.
And red?
So Grandma Redbird and Zoe are eating cake with brown pop and wine, because that's how they're celebrating her birthday. And Zoe asks Grandma Redbird if her mom will ever change. Grandma Redbird tells her that she might, but she honestly doubts it. Zoe thanks Grandma, saying that she is thankful that Grandma doesn't lie to her, and this was Grandma Redbird's response. And once again, that line is, lies don't fix things. They don't even make things easier, at least not in the long run. Best to tell the truth than clean up an honest mess. So I personally think that that was Grandma Redbird's way of explaining it's a shitty situation, you know, and to lie about it is going to make it so much worse. Like, she already knows that something needs to change with her mom, right? And if I ask you something about that, and you'd be like, you know, there may be like a time that she may change,
but no, in the back of your head, be like, nah, like she's not gonna fucking change,
right? You know, like, then that leads you to hope, and then you're like further disappointed further on down the line. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it's better to clean up an honest mess. Mm-hmm. You know, I wish I could tell you she's gonna,
but I don't know that.
But I doubt it. I doubt it, and I'm sorry, but I feel like it's always going to be this way, you know? And that is easier, as hard as that is to hear.
It's better than being let down and after being lied to, and knowing that you've been lied to.
Right. And so this actual lies quote comes up in a couple of different scenarios in further books as well. It's talked about in Hidden, and I can't remember what book this is in the series, but it's in Hidden on page 82. Zoe has a line that says, "Then I remembered what lying to my friends had cost me before. Not just their trust for a while, but it had cost me respect for myself. I didn't feel good when I lied. I felt out of sync with the goddess and the path I believed she wanted me to walk." And that was when she had lost her circle after it came out that she had slept with her teacher. Right? She had lost Lauren because some shit goes down with Lauren. I don't even know if we've covered that part yet, but some shit goes down with Lauren. She ends up losing Stark. No, not Stark. I'm sorry. Not Eric. Because Eric finds out about it, and Eric is her current boyfriend. And you know, Heath is always there. You know, he's upset because she's trying to put some space in between them in order to break the imprint that they have, but it's just not gonna happen, you know. And so she's like, you know, her circle's mad at her because they're like, oh my god, like, why didn't you tell us, like, what was going on between you and Lauren? And it's just one big thing. And so, like, one lie exploded her world, right? And so she learns this lesson not only from Grandma Redbird, but from the mistakes that she makes herself, right? So the article that we're going to talk about today is called "The Truth About Lying" by Angelo and John Turry, published in Cognition. Of course, the link is in the show notes. Feel free to go read the studies yourself. We actually, you know, advise you to. There's lots of things that are covered in these studies that we talk about that we don't talk about because I just pull out, you know, just some quotes in order to get us talking, but it doesn't cover the extent of the essay or the studies. Like, a lot of these studies run from 8 pages to 30
to 400, and
you know, we have an hour and a half max, you know, to talk to you, so that's not enough time to cover a study in its entirety. So
and have a conversation
about it, you know, and make
we could talk for hours.
We really can, and we do. So, you know, we just pick a couple of things to have conversation on. So I really advise that you go read the studies that we do give you links to, because you learn lots from them. So the first, of course, as with every study, we got to start out with definitions. So a lie is a dishonest assertion. I think that's pretty clear. A statement is a lie if the deceiver believes what he or she says is untrue, regardless of whether the statement is in fact true or false. Okay? So So does that make sense?
No.
Okay. So I could say the sky is pink at like 10:30 a.m.
Okay.
Right? I'm telling you that knowing that the sky is not pink.
Okay.
Okay? But you could hear that statement at like 6:30, right as we're getting to twilight, and it may in fact be pink. But I was talking about 10:30 a.m. that it was pink, and that was a lie.
Right.
So it doesn't matter if the statement is true or not. If I said it
at the wrong,
wanting it to be untrue,
it's a lie.
That's a lie.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So, lying requires deceptive intent. So, if you say, they have a great example in this study. So, they were talking about, they made up these stories about, like, just this random scenario. And they were talking about this kid who was trying to cover for his friend. Okay? So he was telling witnesses what he thought were lies to cover for his friend. And some of them were true, and he didn't know they were true. Like, oh, well, Bobby wasn't here, he was at the store. But Bobby was at the store, but the friend didn't know he was at the store. Okay?
Oh, shit.
So then, like, people were asked, was that a lie? But
he doesn't know.
They were saying that it wasn't a lie because Bobby really was at the store.
Right.
But the friend meant to throw people off, so some people were saying, yes, that was a lie because there was intent there to lie to make sure that Bobby was safe, right? It doesn't matter whether or not what he said was true or not. The intent was there to lead people astray from Bobby.
Right.
Right? So that's like the setup scenario that they're talking about.
Okay.
Okay. So lying requires deceptive intent. Okay, so it doesn't matter if it's true or not. If you have the intent to lie and you say something, then that's a lie.
Right.
Okay? So the social function of lying attributions seem mainly tied to our disapproval of dishonesty or deceptive intent. Dishonest and deceptive intent breach the trust just as much as successful lies do, right? So in society, lying is looked down on, right? And it's not the fact that you're lying. It's the fact that you're trying to deceive me. That's the problem.
What do you mean by deceives?
Deceive.
There you go.
Yep. So you're trying to tell me an untruth. You're lying to me for a reason. Whatever reason that may be. You don't want me to find out what you're doing. You're doing some shady shit in the back of the restaurant,
right.
And you are lying to me because you don't want me to know what's going on.
Right.
It's not the fact that you lied.
It's the reason why.
It's the fact that you're trying to deceive me.
Right.
Okay?
Okay.
So in society, that is what breaches trust. It's not necessarily the lies.
Okay.
Okay? Accordingly, we suggest that public morale discourse could be clarified and improved if we focus less on whether someone lied and more on whether they are deceptive and dishonest. So that's what that's saying. That the general society would be better if we focused more on why they were being deceptive as opposed to the lie itself.
Right.
Okay. That really comes... Okay, so let me read up this last point. The latter speaks more directly to character and are appropriately insensitive to whether, as it happens, the person's assertion turned out to be literally true, and that's what we talked about.
Right.
You know, Bobby went to the store. So what this article is basically saying is when a person lies with that deceptive intent, your character comes into question.
Right.
Right? Are you a trustworthy person or not?
Right.
Okay. Now, even regardless if it comes out to be true or not. Right? So, and that was literally all of the notes that I took from this article, because this leads to lots of different scenarios that we can talk about. Right? So the first one that I come to is I tend to work really well with teenagers.
Yeah.
Right? And so I am kind of a human lie detector machine. Like, I instantly know whether or not you're telling me a lie. And I'm like, yeah? Really? Really? That's
So
not...
you fucked up.
Yeah? Okay. All right. Well,
Or I'm just trying to figure out why. Fuck.
yeah. Help me understand whatever. Right? Like, that's... I feel like there's something missing between, like, can you explain this a little bit more? And Mama's like, fuck me running. I fucked up.
I can't.
I fucked up.
Okay.
I fucked up.
And what about
this
it?
One,
Okay.
This what happened. This what really happened. So it's just something in me that I am just like a legit built-in lie detector. Okay. And that sounds like it's a really great thing to have, and it's not. It's not. Okay.
Because you want to believe the story.
I do. Oh man, I just please.
You want to believe them.
You know, but I work with a lot of teenagers throughout my life. I've worked with a lot of teenagers in a lot of shitty situations, whether that be in CASA or DFS, or, you know, just as they come across my living room or whatever, you know. And so I try really hard to not focus on the lies, because there is something else behind it. Like, why do you feel the need to lie to me? Because if you're lying to me, then that tells me that you don't see me as a safe person, and I'm trying to figure out what I need to do in order to make you feel safe, in order to tell me, like, exactly what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that is where that line comes into play for me. I'm not focused on the lie. Like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, bitch, like, you fucking told me. I do that with adults. I do that with adults.
But you don't do that with kids.
But I don't do that with kids. Like, with kids and teenagers and stuff, they think they're going to be in trouble, right? Because they've gone out and done whatever, you know? But, like, for an example, like, the kids tell me when they have fucked up. Like, Anthony... dude, the one thing that, like, really sits in my brain, I'm coming in from work, I'm working at the restaurant, right? I'm just like, minding my own business. Anthony comes home from his sleepover. I come out of my room, and I'm in the master bedroom at that point in time, and so I get up, and I meet Anthony at the door, and I'm like, hey, you know, how was your night? You know, like, did you have fun? And he's like, oh yeah, Mom did acid for the first time last night. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, all right, well, how'd that go? You know, like, were you safe? Like, where were you at? Did you go anywhere? Like, and the fact that the kids are so open to be like, hey, like, I did this, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, all right. And it's because they know that it's a safe space. The first thing I'm always going to ask
is, are you safe?
Were you safe? Right? Safety is our number one thing, and that is the first thing that we always go to.
So even if kind of lie, we tell you.
Yeah.
Like, the other night, I told you I was going to go to Walmart, get some tampons, and then go home. I did not do that. I went to Walmart, grabbed tampons, and then went for a drive.
Right.
And you asked if I was home, and I told you yeah, and
then that's when all the questions started. I was like, this may say how.
Yeah.
That was not nearly enough time for her to get to Walmart, which is like 13 to 15 minutes away from here, back to her house, which is about 30 minutes away from Walmart. Okay? And it had been like 40. I was like,
I didn't even think about that.
nah. Send me a picture. Let me know you're home.
Yeah. So I sent her a picture.
And it was just like of her in the car. Like her face in the car. And I was like, this bitch ain't home.
So you told me to send you my location, and I told you, I asked why.
Right.
Because not that I was doing anything wrong.
Right.
It was just the fact that I knew you were tired, and I didn't want to go home, so I wanted you to think I was okay. Mm-hmm. And I was okay. I was safe.
Right.
Right. But I told you that I was home when I was not. And then I called you, because I was like, fuck, like, there's no getting out of this one now. No, because she wants my location, and my location is not what I told her where I was.
Right.
So I called you, and I was like, hey, look, like, I lied.
Yeah. And I'm like, why?
Yeah. And there was no, like, hurtful intention in it.
Right. There was no malice.
It was just because I wanted you to think I was safe for you to go to bed, and so I could do what I wanted to do, which was just stay out a little bit longer, so where I was living was peaceful for a second. Mm-hmm. And there was no hurtful intent in it, so I wasn't in trouble, like, and then I told you when I did actually get home safe, and I was great. It was fine. But this bitch knows. She, like, I'm, like, driving around the park, and I'm like, yeah. She's like, send me your location. Fuck. Okay.
I knew it.
And you're like, I'm just a little bit extra worried tonight. Why? Like, go to bed. Like, fuck. And I wasn't doing it because I was doing anything wrong. I wasn't wasn't anything like that. It was just because I wanted her to go to bed thinking I was safe. And I was safe. Mm-hmm. It was just because I wasn't where I was supposed to be.
Right.
And I didn't tell you I was going to go for a drive.
And it wasn't like you were supposed to be somewhere.
No.
It was just that you had told me you were going somewhere, and you're like, yeah, okay, yeah, okay, and then, okay, yeah, okay, well, where are you going next? Okay, yeah, No.
Yeah.
It doesn't add up.
Yeah, no.
You know, and I don't know if it's just a Mexican mom intuition or whatever it is, but it's just a thing, you know. So that malice wasn't there, and I wasn't like, oh my god, like, how could you lie to me?
Yeah,
I was just like,
there was no reason for me to lie.
Like, there's no reason.
I just wanted you to go to bed.
Right, and you explained that, and I was like, okay, yeah, I get that.
Yeah, because it was a long day that day. Like, you had gotten home from work, and then we had our Thanksgiving, and it was a long day for you, so it wasn't hurtful.
No, not at all.
It was more out of like, okay, like, I know she's tired, and I don't want her to worry about me.
Right.
So she can go to bed.
Right.
And then you're like, send me your location. God damn it. Go to bed. Fuck. I'm okay.
Yeah, so, and it's not ever about, like, getting super upset about, like...
We never really get upset.
We have two rules.
Don't lie to me, don't steal from me.
Don't lie to me, and don't steal from me.
And even that lie to me one gets a little flexible with it.
Right.
Sometimes. Very rarely, but sometimes.
Because it always comes out that you guys tell me the truth anyway.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're... I don't think you guys have ever lied to me to be malicious.
No, absolutely
not. You know, you've never lied to me to try and hide anything. Mm-hmm. We're not the type of family that hides things from each other. We're very open about all the things.
Yeah.
You know, about sex, about drugs, about friends, about situations, about relationships. Like, we're open about everything. Mm-hmm. There's not anything that's like,
hush, hush,
hush, hush, mom. You know, like, it's not, we're just not that kind of family. Everything is open for discussion.
Yeah. There may be certain topics that you don't have with one another. Like I wouldn't talk to Anthony about, like, my sex life.
Oh, right.
Or, like, what I'm doing for drugs, like...
Right.
But I tell you those things.
Right.
But I also wouldn't tell you, like... Bro, like, I
oh, yeah,
got high off my ass.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, and I would tell you that, like, but it was... That'd be a later thing. Like, you know, like, 3 years ago when I didn't come home that night, like, I was fucking plastered. Okay, but
Right,
I also
but it's
know,
not like I don't already know.
right,
Like
I could call you at any time
anytime.
and be like, Mom, like, I'm either too drunk or I'm too high or maybe even both. I cannot drive. I need you to come pick me
Right,
up.
because I'm not safe.
Yep.
And our first rule
Is
is
safety.
that safety rule. So it doesn't matter what you're doing or who you're with or whatever. We just want to make sure that you're safe.
safe.
That is the number one rule. My number one job is to make sure that you're safe. So it doesn't matter. Like we've had, fights about. Well, I told you in confidence and you told somebody else and you reacted on this and I told you as a friend and I'm like, that not a friend, because number one priority.
Because I told you something about a situation where I was no longer safe.
Right. Yes. And so my number one priority is to make sure that you're safe. That is my number one priority. And so that, like, those couple of situations have escalated from there. And then it wasn't until you had stepped back and looked at it objectively and remembered, oh yeah,
She's not my
mom.
friend anymore. She's my mom.
She's my mom. Number one, first and foremost, and her job is to make sure that I'm safe.
Yeah.
And so that is how we come out of that. When we come out of those real volatile situations or those hard discussions, is that there's that understanding and that law that between us three, well, four now and Michaela,
Yeah.
that number one rule is safety.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you're not safe or Anthony's not safe or Michaela's not safe or, somebody needs help or I'm not safe, like, that call goes 4 different ways.
Yeah.
So, can you tell me a situation where you weren't upset about somebody lying to you? Or were upset about somebody lying to you?
I was upset at first, but then I realized, like when Tavia knew about the cop coming.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I had no
Do you want to
idea.
give a little bit of background about that for
So it's more,
viewers?
I'm not going to like fully explain it.
Just so that they've got
Yeah.
some
So
kind
I
of
really did
context.
talk about it in,
3 episodes ago.
yeah, something like that. But I was in a domestic violence situation with my ex, and I told Mom. I did not go to work that day. And then me and you had gotten into it because I did not want to press charges. I didn't want to do anything about it. And so you and Shauna called a...
Sheriff deputy.
Right, for a welfare check.
Right, because where we live, we're not in Casper city limits. So if they come to my house or your house, we are considered in the county, and so the sheriff responds to all of our calls. We don't get a
don't get
police
cops.
department, like we get a sheriff.
Yeah. So you called a welfare check on me, and Tavia knew. And I actually wasn't even going to go home that night. I was going to get some food, and then disappear from town. I was heading to Cheyenne. And I remember getting on the highway and thinking, when I got to the Hot 6, I was like, okay, so like, if I get off here, I can go home, be fine. But if I stay on the highway, I can just straight shot to Cheyenne. And I had a full tank of gas, so I was going to make it. There was no reason for me to stop anywhere. I did end up going home, and then I was home for about 20 minutes.
Ish, yeah.
And in that 20 minutes, I sat there with my best friend talking, and we were bawling. And then we went out and talked with her mom, and then I was just fucking around with my plates, like showing how I serve. And then I hear a knock on the door, and I was like, holy shit, like that scared the fuck out of me. And then here comes my mom, and then here comes Shauna, and then a cop. And I looked at Tavia. I was like, what is going on? What is going on? And she's like, please don't be mad at me. Please don't be mad at me. And she just
Poor baby
broke.
girl. She was so upset.
She was so scared.
Mm-hmm.
And I was mad because everybody knew, and I had been, what is that word? It starts with a B. Forced into talking with a cop, for lack of a better term.
Coerced.
Yeah. And been, like, tricked. And I fell for it. And so I was mad. And then me and her kind of talked about it later. And honestly, me going home that night and having that cop there did save my life.
It did.
It did. Because I already had a plan. And I was going to be gone that night. And then talked to the cop, and everything was fine after. But her lie
By omission?
saved my life.
Yeah.
And you already knew that because she asked you, should I tell her? And you said,
And I said, absolutely fucking not.
yeah, you said don't tell her, because you knew I would have left, and I would have not come back.
Yeah. 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 So, I'm not saying that there's a good reason to lie. I don't want that to go out there. Like I said, I have 2 rules. Don't lie to me and don't steal from me. The fact of the matter is that breaks trust.
Mm-hmm. I didn't break trust with her, but there was a second of, what else are you hiding from me? Is there anything else coming that I don't know?
Right. And in Octavia's defense, you were very emotional that night, and so you weren't thinking rationally about anything that was going on, and so it would make sense that you would question that. Right? So if you look at your guys' relationship now, between you and Octavia, like, you guys still trust each other with each other's lives, you know Absolutely. What I mean? Just like Shauna and I, and, trust each other with each other's lives. Mm-hmm. We're so immersed with our circle that's not something that we question. Shauna and I actually just had a conversation about this in regards to relationships. Mm-hmm. Shauna and I have some super hard conversations. Yeah. And I think you've been, there to hear some of those conversations where we kind of have to. So, as discussed with last episode, Shauna and I are both fire signs. So I'm a Leo and she's a Sagittarius. And sometimes, like, we're so fucking stubborn.
Yeah.
And there are some things that we have to tell each other that we're like, hey, can you just fucking stop? Just stop. Okay? Because your thought process is real fucking shitty right now. And here, you need to stop thinking about that, because it's going to lead you to this and this and this. And this is what you really need to be focused on. And, kind of like that conversation needs to be handled in that way. Differently. And I know it's very relative into who you're talking to.
What does that sound?
There is, Shauna and I have had conversations. I remember one distinct conversation where we were coming back from Utah last summer, one of the many times we were in Utah. And she was like, I just want people to like me. And I'm like, baby girl, that is not going to happen. Okay. 'Cause you were doing some shit.
That changes people's lives. And is changing
the realm of bull riding, which is a normally male-dominated sport, and contracting and running the events. And
but here you are as a girl,
and here she is as a girl. Like, of course she's gonna piss people off. So you need to be able to stand up for yourself, and stand up for yourself in a way that allows you to stand up for yourself as a woman, but then able to articulate what your argument is. So being overcome by emotion, because that's what we do because we're women, kills your argument to most men when you are emotional and you're doing your argument. So you have to kind of get over that, because she's super quick to respond in anger. And I had to have the conversation saying, hey, you need to tone that down a little bit, because nobody's listening to you because you're so full of emotion. So once you get through that emotion and can articulate your argument, then that will make you seem more more credible to the men that you're working with. That was a really hard...
Because you're literally trying to break personality traits.
Yeah. Yeah. We struggle... Shauna and I have been struggling for the last 2 years. In breaking ceilings, breaking molds, creating new paths, breaking cycles for every piece of our lives, right? I started Smile, was doing the research for that. She started Underground, and then I came in with that. She started Glamity, I came in with that. You know, and then on top of all of that, we're like, hey, we're not doing enough. Let's do some self-help stuff too on top of everything. And now I'm also trying to write a book in between it all. So...
Plus your day job.
Yeah, plus like my actual job. So it's finding someone safe enough to not tell you those lies. Like Grandma Redbird wasn't telling Zoe. 1, is super hard to find.
Yeah.
Okay. 2, it's super hard to keep in your life when you don't fully trust the person.
Right.
Right? So say some Tom, Dick, or Harry comes up to you and starts like, hey, like, you need to get your shit together. You need to do this and this and this and this.
Which may be true.
Absolutely. Every single word of his argument may be 110% true.
But I don't know you and I don't trust you, so fuck you.
Yeah. So, fuck out my face.
Yeah, who you talking to like that?
Yeah. So, you have to have that a certain level of trust in order to do that. And we were talking about how difficult that is to find in relationships.
Yeah.
You know, I want my male version of Shauna.
Right.
To be able to have those hard conversations and to be able to sit me down and be like, hey, I'm really worried about you.
Yeah.
Because you are doing a lot right now, and you're missing deadlines. You know, you're not doing anything. You haven't done anything for the past week. Like, what's going on, and how can I help?
Right.
To get somebody in your circle that understands
everything in your circle,
your moods, your cycle, I'm not just talking about like your moon cycle. I'm talking about like your mood cycle, right? And your highs and your lows, and when you're starting to get overwhelmed, and that can like have the emotional bandwidth and maturity to explain those things, as opposed to coming in guns blazing telling you what to do. And I don't know if y'all have seen that meme, like you don't come in and tell a Mexican woman what to do, okay? Yeah. I'm thinking of that one particular meme where the boyfriend's like, good morning, sunshine, it's time to get up, you need to get up and get your day started.
First of all,
and she's all, don't tell me what to do. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, we're kind of like that.
Why are you waking me up?
Who are you talking to like that?
My body did not tell me that I had to wake up. Oh god, I fucking hate that people wake me up. That is my biggest... It could be for like anything. It's like 11 o'clock in the morning. And you're like, hey, like, you've been sleeping a long time. Like, I don't care. But my biggest pet peeve is when people wake me up.
Right.
I could tell them to wake me up because I have to be at work in 15 minutes. I can tell you, I'm still going to be pissed because you woke me up.
And then you get over it.
Yep.
Right. So, you know, we were talking about lies in relationships, and so not having someone come in and be like, hey, it's all going to be okay.
Oh my god, you're so warm.
I know.
I'm freezing.
You know, like having someone come in and be like, hey, like it's going to be okay. It's all going to work out.
Yeah.
That's a lie to me.
Yeah, because you don't know. You
don't know how it's going to work out. You can't give me any constructive criticism that I'm willing to listen to right now.
You don't have any idea what's even happening right now, so how do you know it's going to happen in the future?
Right.
And you have no control over what the future is.
Right. And so in my mind...
You know who tells me that all the time?
Who?
Take one guess.
Guy or girl?
Guy.
Oh, I don't know. Rob?
Fuck no.
No.
He tried to tell me that once and I got fucking pimp slapped. I probably could have gotten rid of him, but I wanted to get done.
I don't know.
My dad.
Oh, yeah, that was actually one of the main reasons why we broke up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because
well, I mean, like, not one of the main reasons.
It's gonna be okay, baby girl. It's
yeah.
okay. You don't know that.
Yeah, and you can't tell me how it's going to be okay.
Yeah,
if
so
you can articulate to me an argument,
you can be like, okay, so we're gonna do this and this and this and this, and then we'll be okay. I'll be like, dude, where have you been all my life?
Yeah, I
got.
got.
If you're just gonna be like,
sweet.
If you're just gonna be like, no, it's gonna be okay. Like everything will be taken care of. By who?
How? When?
What's going on?
Yeah.
I'm not
I
gonna
need all the 5 W's answered at that point in
who,
time.
Who, what, when, where, why.
And how. Like,
yeah.
Because I need to know how shit is going to work out for me right now. Like,
because I'm not going to follow you blindly.
Right. I don't trust enough.
We have really bad trust issues.
We do have really bad trust issues. But it starts with this lying thing. Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
And it takes a long time to do that. Shauna and I have been friends for 10 years.
It can be based off of one lie.
And I will question everything that you've ever done.
Yep.
You know? It's that consistency is a huge thing for me.
Yeah.
So if I know... I think the reason why the 3 of us work really well together is because we know what we're going to do in each situation given.
We also know each other really well.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I can grab Anthony and put him in situation A and know how he's going to handle that, and then pick him up and put him in situation C and know how he's going to handle that, and then put you in B because I know how you're going to handle that.
Right. We know each other's strengths and weaknesses.
Right. And so if
and it's still even a question sometimes. But we're getting there.
But, like, if I pick somebody who is just an acquaintance and throw them in situation A, I'm like, okay, what he's going to do...
It's a 50-50 shot. Is he going to struggle or is he going to smash this shit?
Right.
I don't want to question.
And that's hard for me.
My tummy hurts so bad.
And that's just my past trauma talking. But it's the lies from the toxic relationships and the abusive relationships that really...
I look like a poodle.
Makes me question the honesty and the truthfulness of a person.
Yeah.
So, is there one particular lie that sets you off?
It's not a lie from everybody.
Okay.
But specific people.
Okay.
Or, like, you tell me this and then show me otherwise.
Right.
Which is I love you.
Okay. That's crazy that was the first thing that popped into my brain after I said that.
Yep.
And I looked at you and I was like, it's I love you.
Yeah. Because, and it may not even just be, like, relationships. Well, it's mostly relationships. But
I mean, we tell everybody we love them.
If I mean it, I will tell you.
Right.
If I don't mean it, I won't tell you.
Right.
Like, thank you so much. Like, you're so sweet. Like,
I appreciate it.
Yeah, how kind of you. But, like, I've even... My dad. Like... And although he may love me, he does not love me the way a father should love their child. So I don't believe it.
Can you clarify that a little bit? Because you just made him sound...
He's not an awful person. He's not an awful person. Awful. No, he's not an awful person. He may have some shitty situations that he's put in, and the way he reacts to those situations is not the way that I would react to if I was in his situation.
Right. So he's more friend as opposed to parent.
Right.
Okay.
And there's times that I may want him to be my friend, and there's times that I want him to be my parent.
Right.
But he can't do both. He
right.
doesn't know how to do both.
Right.
He just knows you get either or.
Mm-hmm.
And he always chose parent. He always chose friend.
Right.
Instead of parent when I needed him to be a parent.
Right.
So he would tell me, I love you.
And the times he did choose parent,
he was at the wrong time.
His timing was like so wrong.
And he may have had the best intentions, was just trying to be there, but he would swoop up after 5-6 years and be like, oh,
after being gone.
Dad's here.
Yeah.
Be like, fuck you. Like, where have you been?
Right.
Because you told me that you loved me.
And then left.
For 6 years.
Right.
I wouldn't do that to somebody that I love.
Right.
But that's what he does.
Right.
And he doesn't understand where he's wrong.
Right. So it's just the words not matching the actions.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. So does that make it a lie if the words don't match the actions?
I think so. Because
Why so?
your actions tell me more than your words.
Does that go to the mean what you say and say what you mean rule? Not rule, I guess. Is it a rule that we have?
Yeah.
Okay.
But also, like, I can... How do I say this? I can tell you who somebody is based off their actions.
Most times.
Right. Not all the time. Most times.
Yeah, because sometimes I'll be losing my shit. I'm not even gonna lie.
Right. Right. But I also have, like, commitment issues and, like, trust issues. So, like, if somebody walks up to me and was like, okay, here's this as my background story, I'd be like, but is that really your background story, or are you lying? Or are bits and pieces of that true, and you just decided to throw some bullshit shit in there?
Okay.
You know what I mean? So, like, I look at actions more than I do words.
Okay. So does it matter what the background story is then? Or is it just showing you what
it shows
they
me if
are
you
right
really,
now?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But also really about commitment issues and trust issues and abandonment issues.
Yeah. Counseling. She's working on it.
And not even, like, abandonment issues from you, but you, like, happen to get it.
Yeah, I know. Like,
I used to be pissed when I would wake up and you were gone.
Yeah.
I would literally sit there in my room crying.
Right.
Because I thought you left me.
Right.
You just fucking went to the dollar store to go get some toilet paper.
Yeah, which was like 5 blocks away, maybe.
Yeah.
From our old
And
apartment.
I would be
like
in tears.
And I come back and I'm like, the fuck is wrong with you? Like,
yeah.
I just went to go get cookies or balloons or whatever. Because we were going to the dollar store for some crazy shit back then.
Dude.
Like,
but I would be in literal tears because of something someone else did.
Right.
But you happened to be there.
Right.
And happened to have done something similar, knowing you were going to come back, but I was scared you weren't going to.
Right.
I was like, well, like, she's asleep. Now's my chance to go. Bye. Like, deuces. Like, that was my biggest fear. And, like, me and you and your ex-husband have gotten into it. Like, we got into it really bad. And he told you were being passive aggressive, and you were like, I don't care. Then left, and I, like, cried more because I was like, well, now she's really gone. Like,
we were crying with my ex-husband.
Right, I was literally crying because you left, and then you came back, and I told you that I was upset that you left, and then you left again. And I was like, well, now she's really pissed. Like, bye, Mom, love you. Like,
I'll never see you again.
Yeah, and you're gonna leave me with this piece of shit. Like,
right. No.
Yeah, those are really bad abandonment issues.
Yeah, we've gotten into it a few times, and it was not that I had ever lied to you or anything. I don't think I've ever lied to you. We had a huge discussion.
That ramen bowl you did.
About, no, I never answered you.
Okay, you were really fucking bad about that. Not even telling the truth.
If I
not telling the truth,
or I change the subject, like,
yeah, that's still lying because you did not give me the full truth and nothing but the truth.
You didn't ask me a direct question.
Did you put your hand on the Bible and raise your left hand? No, that's the problem.
I answered direct questions.
Yeah, so I've gotten really good at asking
Yes.
direct questions.
Yes.
I'm like, so like, what's that? What's in that wrapping, Mom? I don't know. No, you sure damn do know.
Why?
Yeah.
Why? Why do you need to know?
Because I want to know. But why? Because I want to fucking know what's in there, okay?
And Christmas is the
So hard.
worst time for me because I'm like, oh my god, I totally got you something that you're totally gonna love.
Yeah,
And I
so,
can't tell
like-
you what it is. And then I'm just like, I like give presents like throughout Christmas because I can't fucking keep a secret to save my life.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah.
I can't.
So, like, those Christmas presents that you have wrapped already, I'm like,
Yeah.
what's in those? But, like, I also don't want to know because I want to have presents on Christmas.
Right.
So,
Right. Because you already got one of your Christmas
I sure
presents,
did.
right?
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, oh, fuck, man. I knew she was going to love it. So I was like, I should just give it to her now. And then I was like, no, because then I got to get more presents for Christmas. And then I'm like,
but she's really going to love it.
but she's totally going to love it. So, yeah. Like, so, I think, are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay. I think the one that sets me off is I'll always be here for you.
Ugh. God, that one pisses me off.
And
Prove it.
there are some people
Who have proven it.
who have proven that. Like,
And
you
mad
know,
props.
my sister and my foster mom, like,
Yeah.
they have never left my side the second they came into my life. And, the only times that they were gone were the times that I had left them, to go do my own life or whatever.
But we have to come back.
And then we always come back. And that they, I cannot say enough about my foster mom. And we have even had some hard conversations as well.
Yeah.
About actually when I was adopted, I had to confess to her, and I was like, Mom, like, I am not doing well at all. Like, at all. Here I am, homeless with 2 kids, and I have no car, and I don't know what to do. And it was in therapy that it was learned or pieced together, however you want to say it, that it was because I had no stability. There was nothing that was permanent in my life at that point in time. I was fighting with my bio mom again. Like I said, we were homeless. We were living in a hotel room. I had signed over temporary custody of my son to his maternal grandma. And, she was a previous drug addict, so that was not, the best choice either. And so I was a month without my son, and that was hard.
Yeah.
I think I have never experienced anything more painful in my life. And it was just so much. I didn't have any support system. I had moved in with this guy that I had met at work, who was a newbie. And so I didn't really know much about him, and ended up getting into a relationship with him, and then he ended up catching charges, and then, it just escalated from there. And so,
And then having your daughter around you.
yeah, like, you have grown up in kitchens your entire life because that was what I was working, and that was the survival skill that I had at that point in time.
And that's my only survival skill.
And I hadn't finished school at that point in time. Like, there was just, it was so many things. It was so many things. And so I had to have that honest conversation with my foster mom to be like, Mom, like, I am out here and I'm literally dying. I'm literally dying. I don't have my kids. I don't have a house. I don't have a car. I don't have my life together. I dropped out of school. Like, it was hard to go to her and admit those things and have her be like, hey, I know you're going through a hard time.
Here's how we fix it.
And here's how we do it. Here's how we do it. Here's what we do. What do you need from me? And that was hard to ask for anything from her, you know, because there was this angel who had saved me yet again, you know what I mean? And so that those hard conversations, and not once did she tell me it's going to be okay. I take that back, because she always tells me it's going to be okay.
But she shows you how and how to fix it.
Absolutely.
It's not just words at that point.
No. She sits down with me and is like, okay, so you need a job.
Right.
You know, or whatever, you know, how do we do that? Who do you need to go talk to? And she'll sit there and run through it with me. So at that point, it doesn't feel like a lie.
Right. Because it's a plan at that point.
Yeah, and she's telling me how to do it. Like, my mom's coming in and she's teaching me how to do these things. And, you know, I'm 40-some years old, and there's not, anytime I come up against, especially a work situation, she's the first person I call. I'm like, Mom, I need help. I don't know how to deal with this, you know? Like, so it's not a lie when those people I trust come to me and say, it's going to be okay.
But here's how.
Because they take that additional step to explain how. And I don't know if it's a me issue or if it's the way my brain processes things or anything like that, but that's probably my second biggest lie that triggers me is it's going to be okay. Because you don't fucking know that.
Yeah.
You
Nobody
know?
knows that.
But if you can sit down with me and explain to me how
step by step,
it'll be okay.
You need to break that shit down.
Right.
It's not just like, oh yeah, like, so like, we're gonna be okay because we're gonna get a house together. But like, how?
But you don't even have a job right now. Like,
I don't have a job. You don't have a job. So we have to have this plan.
Right.
And work backwards.
Right. And that's how we get through everything. You know, your breakdowns, my breakdowns, you know, like, we're like, okay, whoa.
So like, what's your end goal?
Right. What are you working toward? Where do you want to be? What does that look like?
And then let's work backwards.
Right. Shauna and I do that all the time. You know, we are working on some projections for Underground right now, and we will have talked about that by the time this airs. So if you want to know, drop a note below and I will tell you what our next plans are for Underground. But you know, we have,
I feel so weird because I just keep
I know. But we have talked extensively about, okay, where do we see Underground going? And then you and I have talked, you know, where do we see Glamity going? And those are those conversations that Shauna and I have had. And, you know, we're slowly, gradually moving Glamity through the processes to get her to be in bigger places. And, you know, we have also discussed about where we want to see Smile go. You know, and what the end goal for Smile looks like and what that means for us. Like, in a dream world, where does that lead us? Where does that take us? And if you're interested in hearing those goals, let us know. We may do a special episode for that. But, like, you know, like, that's how we figure out our plans, you know, for everything. You know, you wanted to be a makeup artist. So I was like, okay, like, what does that look like? You know, like, do you need extra classes? Do they teach that in cosmetology school? And we interviewed those cosmetology school asking those specific questions.
Yeah.
You know?
And I found out that makeup isn't even licensed.
Right.
But if I have that license, that is just more credibility.
Right.
And more, what is it called? Like, echo? Something. More like reason to believe I am good.
Right.
Because I went through school.
Right.
Because I stayed in school. Because I have clientele. Because I have a license in estheticians.
And a portfolio.
Yeah.
And all these credentials.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Here's why you should take me as your makeup artist. Because I am good.
Right.
And here's what I do.
And here, let me show you evidence.
Yes.
That I am good.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like doctors, you know? When you have that whole alphabet soup after your name, you're just like, damn, okay, all right.
Yeah.
You know? You got LLP
You got a doctorate
and PhD and, you know, like all these things, you know.
I'm like, damn.
I know, right?
But
How long
if
was you in school, brother?
Yeah.
Like,
But if I just see, like, Dr. Rodriguez, how long did you go to school? How long have you been in the industry? How long have you worked here?
Right.
Where else have you worked?
Right.
You have questions.
Right.
To make sure that you're taken care of.
Mm-hmm. Well, and, you know, we had covered that in paralegal school, too. You know, getting that certification and having those initials behind your name.
I should have a fucking
really means something. You know, like, you want those. The alphabet soup is what we used to call it in school, you know, behind your name. And so I know that, like, it's not, the makeup artistry is not, you know, state mandated for credentials and stuff, but to get those credentials anyway, like, that shows drive, that shows some dedication, you know, like, all of that. You went above and beyond, even though you didn't need to.
I can drop out of school
do all of those things
right now and be like, okay, I'm gonna build a clientele.
Yep.
And do makeup artistry. But if somebody comes up to me and was like, okay, where'd you go to school? I didn't. Where have you worked?
Instantly, they're just like,
where have you worked? Just on people at home. You do not sound like professional.
You lose your credibility after every question. Yeah.
So if I can put a yes or this to each question,
right,
I make myself look better.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I went to, you know, the basic school of beauty in Casper, Wyoming, and then I ended up getting credentials from the Denver Paul Mitchell School, not knowing. I'm just pulling shit out of my ass. You know what I mean? And
I have my esthetician license. I have this because thank you. Shout out to Mariana for the example. I did makeup at the Grammys.
Right. Right. You know, like, I've done all of these things and I've got all these additional credentials, as opposed to, so,
I just make up at home, whatever somebody needs.
Right.
So, like,
and so building that portfolio really says a lot. You know, just like modeling, you know.
That was my thing.
Yeah. Let's transition into that.
Yeah, so if you can. It is less likely to sign on somewhere where you have no experience.
Right. I also don't want to diminish the people that have it either, because they have worked really hard to get where they are.
Right.
You know, I just think of the couple of places here, and Sinfully Beautiful, right? So Miss Seneca, she's not...
she doesn't have any licenses.
She doesn't have any licenses at all, and she does amazing work. You know, we saw some of her pictures, you know, and she does great work. And I've seen other pictures of her.
It's not...
But she has worked really hard to get there.
So no discredit. If you do it, I'm proud of you.
110%.
Good job.
You did great.
You're sticking with it. It just sounds better professionally to have those things.
Mm-hmm. In your eyes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I understand that. And like I said, I feel like you automatically get more credibility when you have the alphabet soup after your name. So, so do you agree with this quote?
Yes.
Yes. Why?
Do you know how much room a lie takes up in your brain, especially when you have to
keep track of it?
Yeah.
I don't
have time for that.
I have way too much shit going on to remember what I said yesterday. So if I tell you the truth, I ain't gotta remember nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly. So I don't. Our brain is too small to keep shit like that with no need. With being able to prevent it or stay away from it and just keep your mind just like a little less stressed.
Mm-hmm. There are people that go through their entire lives with a lie, though.
Yeah, that's outrageous.
Can you imagine that? It's exhausting to be angry all the time.
Yeah.
It's exhausting to be sad all the time, too. You know what I mean? So to take up mental bandwidth because you're trying to keep track of a lie.
Hey, there's just no point.
Yeah, I don't understand it. I don't understand it at all. So I agree with it too. I think the sooner you fess up to what you're doing and what's going on, the
sooner you can just get it out of your mind.
Deal with the consequences. There are consequences for everything, good, bad, or indifferent. That's the rule that the kids have grown up with. There's a consequence for everything. And you just have to, you made a choice and you fucking own the choice and
Now you pay for it.
You go on, like I said, good consequences, bad consequences, no consequences at all, or
the likeliness of having no consequences, because with every action, there's a reaction.
Yes, yep, that's what I said, good, bad, or indifferent.
Right.
So it's a thing. So just deal with it, clean up the honest mess, and move on, because it's going to be the easiest, quickest way to get through the situation.
Yeah.
All right, so we are going to wrap up this episode. I want to thank Justin Bragg for being a sponsor. Once again, we couldn't do any of this without him. Thank you for joining us. Any questions, comments, concerns, emails, or message, or questions, comments, concerns, or emails, please send a message to smilegirldon'tbenervous@gmail.com. You can also look us up on any of our social medias. We have Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. So please make sure to follow. We will have lots of videos and pictures and stuff that for like behind the scenes and additional thoughts that we forgot to throw on the podcasts, or pictures that go with the podcast, or songs that we think go really well that we don't want to be copyrighted, and so we just put on the Facebook page. So join us for our next episode where we talk actually with Miss Seneca about being chosen and what all that means.
And that'll be the first of the year.
And it'll be the first of the year. We will be covering New Year's. It'll be our New Year's episode. So come see us be super glitz and glam and lots of sparkles. Well, lots of sparkles for me because I'm always sparkly for New Year's. So I will definitely be super sparkly. You going to be super sparkly?
Probably.
Yeah. So I hope everybody had a wonderful Christmas and exceptional Yule and whatever else you celebrate. We hope you had a great time with family, friends, pets. Yeah, and I am not smiling at just random things over here. I am watching Snuggles over here, so she's always so cute and adorable. So
she's pain in my ass.
Well, thank you again, and we hope to see you soon. We will see you next week. All right, thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye.